Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. I am Nazir Sani from Darul Solutions. After receiving many requests for material sphere blueprint, we have decided to make a tutorial for how to create it, which you can use it to change material of any object on runtime. So let's get started. So to start off, we are going to create a blueprint class of actor, and then I'm going to add a sphere, and I'm going to scale it down to 2.2, and I'm just going to rename it and duplicate it a few times. And I'm also going to add some distance in between them. After that, I'm going to create variables where we can store materials later on, change variable type to material instance, and select object reference. Once done, then click on these eye icons next to the variable names. This will make them public and exposed in the detail panel of the blueprint. Let's check it out if the material variables are exposed. If I apply any material, nothing will update. So let's go and do that. Open the construction script tab and make references for get the pin from one of the sphere reference and search for set material node. Connect it with the construction script node and make two duplicates for other two sphere reference, and then simply connect them to the target slots. Then drag the material variables which we created earlier on and then drop them on the material slots. Let's close the window and select the blueprint. So now if I browse any material and apply it on any of these boxes, you will see that the spheres are now being updated based on the material placed in the blueprint. Next, we have to make references to objects in the scene so we can change its material. To do that, we will need to create another variable where we can store the static mesh actors and their material IDs. But before that, we need to enable the show mouse cursor and enable click and mouse over events. To do that, open your character pawn, which you will use to navigate in your project. Here I'm using the first person blueprint. Right click on the empty graph and search for get player controller node, and then from its return value search for set mouse and get the following nodes and enable them all. Now that we have done that, let's create the struct variable which will hold the actors and their material IDs. To do that, right click in the content browser and then click on blueprints and then select structure, rename it and open it up. We need to create two variables here, one for actors and other for its material IDs. Set the unique name and correct variable types, and make sure you change the material ID variables from single variable to array, since an actor may have more than one material ID. Then click on this plus icon to set a default value. Now open the material sphere blueprint and create a new variable from the variables panel. Select it, and from the right panel change the type by searching for the structure name we just created, and then also change it from single variable to array. If you go to the viewport and check the details panel of the blueprint, you will see that now you have the ability to pick any static mesh actor and define the material ID on which material will be applied when you click on the spheres. Now let's create the function which will let us apply the material to the selected actors. Open the material sphere blueprint and create a function by the name of apply material. Create a sequence node to organize our logic. Make a reference for material struct variable which we created. Drag a pin from its output and get the for each loop, and then get the pin from array element and break the struct to view the variable that it is holding. Now drag the pin from material IDs and run another for each loop, and then drag the pin from the static mesh actor and search for set material and then connect these pins. Make sure you create a variable for the material in the function by simply dragging the pin from the set material and drop it on the function node. Now to create the on-click events, select these spheres one by one, and then on the bottom right of the details panel, click on this plus sign next to the on-clicked event. Drag the apply material function we just created and connect the pins and set the material slots by dragging each material variable which we create in the beginning and drop them on these slots. Now let's play and check if it's functioning properly. So it's working when we click on the sphere. Now let's add the outline effect. Go and select your post processing volume, and then under rendering features, add the outline material in the post process materials. I will share these outline materials along with the blueprint file, so don't worry about it. This will allow us to add outline effect to sphere or any other object. I will turn on the outline for the first sphere by default by selecting it, and then under details panel, search for custom depth pass and enable it. Going back to the function, we will now write the logic for enabling the outline for only the sphere on which we click. Now let's play and test it out. The final thing we need to do is enable the outline effect for the static mesh objects when we hover over the spheres. For that, we will create two functions. Once the functions are created, now we need to call it on mouse over events. If you have followed the steps correctly, then everything should be working now. Let me know your feedback in the comments, and if it was useful for you, then like, subscribe and share to support us. We will be creating more tutorials soon. Take care and bye.